All right, this is Jeff, and I wanted to shoot this video for you. A few of you had some really good questions regarding scheduling your ads, when to run them throughout the day, and a few other really key questions that I wanted to cover here in this video. And in the next half of this, I'm actually going to show you real statistics from our own Aweber account and from our own clients that we've run over time to show you the best times of day to run your ads based on that data. But first, I wanted to start off with this, and I did hours of research trying to find ways that you can automatically turn your ad on and off at specific times of the day. And unfortunately, Facebook doesn't provide that functionality right now based on what I've found. This is coming right from their own community page. As you can see, people are still complaining about this recently, and I agree, it's totally necessary. I think that at some point they will introduce it. For now, you have two options. You can either manually go in and create a start and end time for a day, but then you have to go back in every single day to reset that. So let me show you. If we were going to create an ad here, one moment while this loads. Okay, so let's say you wanted to run traffic to your website. So we're just going to go with clicks to website, and once you fill out all your data, put in your photo, everything's set to go. You choose your audience and everything. Down at the bottom, you can go to schedule, and it's automatically set to continuously run. If you choose set a start date, though, let's say I wanted to start it today at 2 p.m. and have it go until 9 o'clock. Then I could go ahead and change this to the 18th, and it would only run for that 7-hour period today. Downside is then you'd have to go back in and do this over and over again. So what I recommend, and I think is a lot easier, is to keep it on this and just go into your account and pause and enable your ad whenever you want to during that time period. A little more manual, but the nice thing is if you go ahead and just schedule that into your calendar and remind yourself to check in, you can really quickly pause and enable the ad without a problem. So that's the first part I wanted to cover for you. Now, the other question that a lot of you had was best time of day, and I actually wanted to go in and find some real data based on our own experiences. So what I did here is I gathered over 1,600 different records, both from buyer and foreclosure leads and also seller leads, and compiled them over about a 6-month period that we were running for different clients. And you can see the amount of leads that came in during a specific time frame. The morning was a little bit slower from what I've found, and you know, there was a little bit of a bump here around noon time, people going to lunch more than likely. And then over here in the evening, about 6 until 11 p.m. is when most of the activity, the highest activity was happening. 8 to 9 p.m. being the highest overall. And what I wanted to point out here is although this is good to know, and this is probably the best time is around the evening based on what we've seen, it's going to vary for your area, so you need to test it regardless. I would still go through and test different time periods to see what works for you, but based on a large bit of information both from the US and different time zones in Canada, this is what I've seen. Another thing to keep in mind here is that we typically just run our ads all the time, so we don't really worry so much about time period, especially if your budget's kind of is reasonable and set to a price that you can afford. Then you don't really need to worry about this too much because you're getting leads regardless. I was even getting leads early in the morning at times. I deleted those because I didn't want them to skew our results. I think that more of the relevant data is during these time periods here. So go ahead and take a look at this, and you know, for what it's worth, it might apply very closely to your situation. You might find a little bit of a deviation based on where you live. So go ahead and test that. I did not compile information about the day of the week because it would have been a little bit more difficult for me to comb through the Aweber records. But if that's something you guys really want, just let us know. I can run some test ads to see what we find over, you know, a 14-day period or something. But from my experience, weekends can be a little bit slower. But sometimes I have really good success on a Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday are kind of hit or miss, but sometimes I have really good days. So again, if you don't mind just running your ad and not worrying about all these details, just keep it going at a reasonable budget, and you're still going to get leads regardless of what time of day or what day of the week that you're running.